Happy birthday, William and Mary.
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 The College of William and Mary, second oldest institution of higher learning in the United States.
The first Virginians who sought Crown support for a college in their colony saw very clearly the power and the value of education.
Fortunately, King William and Queen Mary also had their goals for education in Virginia, which they granted on February the 8th, 1693.
And at William and Mary, we must dedicate ourselves
to that grand and noble tradition. For the purpose of a university is to transmit the best of the past to future generations.
What relevance has the past to the William and Mary we know? That question we must stay to answer, not today, thankfully, but in the slow unfolding of this generation's stewardship of the college all of us love so deeply.
It has been given to some to handle the light, to mold it, to craft it, to bend it, to write. It has fallen to some to sculpt what we see, to sharpen, to brighten, to make it run free. To those who would hold light in their hands, there is much to remember, to understand. In the right light, love can shine. To all of you, everybody who's come here to learn, God bless you. Get some light and share it.
Beneath thy trees, within thy halls, dear college, we give praise to thee, to pledge ourselves whate'er befalls, to pledge unfailing loyalty. Our hearts are with thee, dear William and Mary, however far we stray. Our noble college, hear us now, thy children sing to thee today. Dear college, old in years and fame, and richly old in honors too, time shall not dull the shining name, whose beam our songs will e'er renew. And as years go by, dear William and Mary, thy fame will never cease. But each new year rejoice to see thy children's praise to thee increase. We honor thee not for our gain, but to make known thy majesty, thy truth and courage that remain, however harsh the face may be. As through troublous years, dear William and Mary, our country
Please sit. Governor Northam, William and Mary family and friends, welcome to Charter Day 2018. This is a glorious occasion. We gather to celebrate the college's 325th birthday. Let's begin by saluting the disciplines that emerged on our campus in 1779 through dramatic changes to the curriculum spurred by our alumnus Thomas Jefferson when he was governor of Virginia and a member of our Board of Visitors. These 1779 disciplines were classical studies, law, mathematics, modern language, philosophy, and physics. All of them are still robustly alive and well at William and Mary these days. King William and Queen Mary granted a royal charter to the college on February the 8th, 1693. As is our annual habit, we now revisit the text, parts of the text, of the college's seminal document. William and Mary students will read excerpts from the charter. Then Thomas Meyer Bubar, class of 2018, will share her reflections on the charter, and after that, our choir will sing, then I will reappear.
William and Mary, by the grace of God, of England, Scotland, France, and Ireland, King and Queen, defenders of the faith, etc. To all to whom these our present letters shall come, greeting.
Forasmuch as our well-beloved and faithful subjects, constituting the General Assembly of our colony of Virginia, have had it in their minds and have proposed to themselves to the end that the Church of Virginia may be furnished with a seminary of ministers of the gospel, and that the youth may be piously educated in good letters and manners, and that the Christian faith may be propagated amongst the Western Indians to the glory of the Almighty God.
To make, found, and establish a place of universal study, a perpetual college of divinity, philosophy, languages, and other good arts and sciences, consisting of 1 president, 6 masters or professors, and 100 scholars, more or less, to be supported and maintained for all time coming.
And forasmuch as our well-beloved and trusty, the General Assembly of our colony of Virginia aforesaid, has humbly supplicated us, by our well-beloved in Christ, James Blair, clerk, their agent duly constituted, that we would be pleased not only to grant our royal license, but also to extend our royal bounty and munificence towards the erection and foundation of the said college in such way and manner as to us shall seem most expedient.
And being desirous that forever hereafter there should be one such college or place of universal study in some certain and undoubted way within the said college, for the rule and government of the same and of the masters or professors and scholars and all others inhabiting and residing therein, and that the said college should subsist and remain in all time coming of our special grace.
That they may have power to erect, found, and establish a certain place of universal study or perpetual college for divinity, philosophy, languages, and other good arts and sciences, consisting of 1 president, 6 masters or professors, and 100 scholars, more or less, graduates and non-graduates, as above said, according to the statutes and orders of the said college, to be made, appointed, and established upon the south side of the York River, on the land now in the possession of John Smith, to continue for all times coming.
And further, we will, and for us, our heirs and successors, by these presents do grant, that when the said college shall be so erected, made, founded, and established, it shall be called and denominated forever the College of William and Mary in Virginia.
In testimony whereof, we have caused these our letters to be made patent. Witness ourselves at Westminster, the 8th day of February, in the 4th year of our reign, by writ of the Privy Seal.
On February 8, 1693, King William and Queen Mary II presented a royal charter for an institution of higher education to be established in the New World. In hand, elegant and bold, they issued a model for generations of scholars to come in pursuit of intellectual haven. In the bloody tumult and turmoil of the American Revolution a century later, however, the charter vanished. Now, I understand. I am a master in the art of losing things. In my time here at the college, I've lost no fewer than 2 student IDs, 3 room keys, and at least 8 unsaved Microsoft Word files containing essays long forgotten till due date's jarring reminder. I can boast that I've never lost a royal charter, but it's on the bucket list. At another institution, a missing charter might have led to catastrophe, a crisis of character. But I believe that our vanished original may have actually left us better off. For the charter's parchment may lie in the smoldering ashes of the Revolution, but its vision thrives more vividly than those whose hands put to paper the luminous ideal of a liberal arts education could have ever imagined. This vision is characterized by remarkable vigor, triumphing in spirit at every football game, flourishing among friends at every freshman hall dinner, shout out to Nicholson, and held in every alumnus's guiding hand. It is a griffin, a beast of the most graceful kind, a relentless desire to learn and succeed that blooms in the hearts of the students who walk these brick pathways every day. I would argue that I know this better than most others. As a student in the William & Mary and St. Andrew's Joint Degree Program, I have been away from the college for 2 years. I was first here as a freshman, then abroad at St. Andrew's in Scotland for 2 years, returning now only as a senior. It's a shock to have last walked the cobblestone steps of the sunken garden as a starry-eyed, fearful first year, and returning as a wily, hopeful, soon-to-be graduate years later. Yet, in my absence from the college, I have come to see myself in William & Mary. Indeed, our fates mirror one another. I was without William & Mary, and William & Mary without its charter. And yet, in my days in cold, dreamy Britain, William & Mary never left me. On the windswept Scottish beaches, I saw the majesty of Lake Matoka. In the Edinburgh Christmas market hot chocolate, I tasted the warmth of colonial Williamsburg. And in the sunlit grass beside my dorm, I glimpsed speckles of green and gold. I didn't need to be on William & Mary's campus to be surrounded by its presence, embraced by its abiding memory. William & Mary lived on in my heart, as does the charter in the hearts and minds of its students. The parchment was a mere formality. Every mind educated in these corridors is the vessel of its purpose, and the charm of this college knows no corporal bounds. So I ask you to reflect on all the college has given you, and thank you for all you have given the college. Every kind thought, noble hope, and worthy desire which will fill the void of that charter. I ask you to continue to build on that dream that King William and Queen Mary so nobly put to paper 3¼ centuries ago. On this day, when we celebrate the inception of this grand university, think not of what is lost. Think of what we have gained. Thank you.
Each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We
William and Mary has almost 100,000 living alumni spread across all 50 states, the District of Columbia, 111 countries, 6 continents, nobody in Antarctica at the moment, but I'm sure we will remedy that. The Alumni Medallion is the highest honor a William and Mary alumna or alumnus can receive. Honorees are chosen for extraordinarily distinguished service to alma mater. Let me name those who will be honored at tomorrow's ceremony. Janet Atwater, class of 1984, Jill Ellis, class of 1988, Shelby Hawthorne, class of 1967, and Ellen Stofan, class of 1983. Janet, Jill, Shelby, Ellen, please stand and bask in our acclaim. Everybody is warmly invited to the medallion ceremonies tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the Sadler Center. Well, we come now to the 24th Chancellor of the College of William and Mary and our alumnus, class of 1965, the Honorable Robert M. Gates. As we all know, Bob Gates has had an absolutely brilliant career in public service, working for 8 U.S. presidents, culminating in service as U.S. Secretary of Defense for 2 different presidents of different parties. But I love to tell this bit about Bob. So let's think back more than half a century to early fall 1961. Young Bob Gates made his pilgrimage then from Kansas to the colonial capital to begin his studies at the alma mater of the nation. He needed a scholarship to help make William and Mary financially feasible for his family. He was, after all, an out-of-state student. He also had to earn money to help foot the bills, so he drove a school bus full of Williamsburg and James City County kids. And of course, it is profoundly in our interest, in the national interest, that people like Chancellor Gates be able to afford a college where they will be taught and encouraged by professors of great ability who know their students by name and care whether they realize their potential, and where students live and learn on a residential campus amid peers of serious ability and ambition. That's why our most philanthropic need at William and Mary these days is to grow our scholarship endowments, lest young people of great ability but very limited means who want to come to William and Mary not be able to for lack of resources. Mr. Chancellor, welcome back to campus. We are yours once again.
Thank you, Taylor. I should note for the record that out-of-state tuition in 1961 was $361 a semester. Yeah, weep. Well, to one and all, greetings and my congratulations to all those being honored today, especially Fran, Hunter, Trudier, and Governor Northam. 325 years is a long time, ancient by American standards. On an occasion like this, I think it's informative to look back to our origins. We began with people. On February 8, 1693, when pen hit parchment to charter the institution we have all come to know and love, the first words written were the names of 2 people, our royal progenitors, William and Mary. And from the beginning, people mattered at William and Mary and to William and Mary. In the first paragraph of the college's charter, 18 people are listed by name and described as well-beloved. Of course, not all people were well-beloved for much of the college's history. For example, the college was already 225 years old when women were first admitted in 1918. We celebrate the centenary of that historic advance this year. When I enrolled as a freshman from Kansas in the fall of 1961, there were virtually no students of color at William and Mary. Indeed, the entire Commonwealth of Virginia was steadfastly segregated. And when I graduated in 1965, as I recall, there was one part-time African-American student. But 2 years later, in 1967, Lynn Briley, Janet Brown, and Karen Eli enrolled. And through their grace, and perseverance, and courage, they taught powerful lessons at this place, founded as a place of universal learning. Together, we have made strides along the path of inclusivity, a path we must continue to travel. As I told the men of Morehouse College in my commencement address in 2010, ours is an imperfect nation that has been and will always be a work in progress. It falls to each generation to ensure that we continue along the path of progress. But our challenge today goes beyond inclusivity. It goes to our growing inability to discuss our differences civilly, with open minds and open hearts. Ever since walking these grounds as an undergraduate, I've been fascinated and inspired by the role this small corner of our country and this college played in shaping the United States of America. The leaders at Jamestown were always fighting with each other. And yet, whatever their differences, the survival of Jamestown and other fragile communities in the New World would depend on finding ways to overcome differences. I believe the example of those leaders, and later our founding fathers, who stood on principle whenever they could, yet compromised when needed for the greater good, has important lessons for today. Lessons too many Americans fail to understand in an age of scorched earth political warfare. Lessons about the importance of civility and mutual respect, putting country before self and country before party. At the national level, we have lost the ability to execute even the most basic functions of government, much less solve the very difficult and divisive problems facing us. Just at a time when our country needs more bipartisanship to deal with our serious long-term problems, most of the trends are pointing in the opposite direction. I have worked for 8 presidents of the United States and known many politicians in both parties for more than 5 decades. And I never met one who had a monopoly on revealed truth or on wisdom. We have too many leaders in both parties whose outsized egos are coupled with undersized backbones, who think they alone have the right answers, and who demonize those who think differently, and who refuse to listen to and take other points of view into account. America faces a lot of challenges. To overcome them requires a willingness to listen and to learn from one another, an ability to see and understand other points of view, and the wisdom to calibrate principle and compromise for the greater good. These qualities comprise the history and the essence of the William and Mary experience. In the urgent endeavors that lie before us, I have no doubt that the graduates and scholars of William and Mary have a special role and a special obligation to be part of finding solutions. It will require inclusivity, but also mutual respect, open minds, the conviction that every person has intrinsic value. And as King William and Queen Mary declared 325 years ago, that each person in our William and Mary family is well beloved. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for those very wise and very timely words. It took William and Mary a while after its creation, to begin awarding honorary degrees, but we started brilliantly with Benjamin Franklin in 1756. And since then, we have recognized lives of powerful accomplishment through the conferral of honorary degrees over the generations. And today we will celebrate 4 marvelous honorary degree recipients via video. They are Fran McLaughlin, Hunter Smith, Trudier Harris, and Governor Ralph Northam. A written account of their glories appears in the program. You can read them, the glories. Following each video, Rector Stottlemyre and Chancellor Gates will award the honorary degree. All right, roll the videos. Roll one video.
A lot of people say they care about education and do care about education, but Fran is different. She has chosen to invest a part of her life in education, and specifically in kids' lives.
Jim and Fran have done wonderful things for the School of Business through the McLaughlin Leadership Forum and through scholarships in both the business school and the law school.
I think what I admire the most about Fran is just her philanthropy and her commitment to students and education. She sponsored 7 of us from the MBA program, and that's just going to continue. So there's another 7 of us now, 14 in total with the 2 classes, along with the law students.
Those scholarships will enable more really bright, good kids to go and give them opportunities that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
In her position as first woman, she had great influence. When the proposal was first made to create a child care center at William and Mary, it was a somewhat controversial issue. Mothers took care of children, and there wasn't any need for a special center on the campus. She was determined to see the project through to completion, and she would be the first to say that it wasn't entirely her responsibility that this happened. And that child care center has been an important and accepted part of life at William and Mary today.
I think it's very, very important that they really appreciate all the things that the college is giving them, not just the academics, but emotionally as well. And then they take the time to give back.
William and Mary is going to shape my future so much, and it's going to be the point in my life I look back and say, that's how I got to where I am. And it's because of her.
Fran is vivacious. I love her because she's got a sharp mind and a sharp wit.
She's also a very caring person, a very thoughtful person. She never forgets to call on a birthday, or if she hears of some good or less than good news about friends, you'll hear from her on the phone almost always. So there's a warmth and a toughness and a commitment to excellence that define her most important qualities.
More than anything else, Fran has worked to provide our kids a future, and that's an amazing way to spend a life.
I'm hoping we can do a lot more. I don't think we're done yet.
Frances Gibson McLaughlin, yours is a legacy of advancing causes close to your heart. Your impact spans the Commonwealth and beyond, and it is felt with particular warmth at your alma mater. As William and Mary's First Lady, you were indispensable in the creation of the Campus Child Care Center, bringing to fruition a place where William and Mary families could thrive. An active and compassionate philanthropist, you have made a telling difference in causes large and small, including the Mountain Mission School, which provides at-risk youth with a superb educational experience in a nurturing environment. A leader of leaders, you cultivated and shaped programs to equip charities and their executives with the knowledge and skills to more effectively help others and expand support for their missions. Among the country's foremost private art collectors, you have served on the boards of several notable arts institutions, including the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, to which you intend to bequeath your collection. William & Mary's campus community is among the greatest beneficiaries of your and your husband's creativity and generosity, including the McLaughlin Leadership Forum, the McLaughlin Faculty Teaching Award, the extraordinary McLaughlin Scholarships in the Schools of Business and Law, and a leading role in the newly renovated Zabel Stadium.
Francis Gibson McLaughlin, your good works know no bounds, and William & Mary is exceedingly grateful for the care and nurture you have shown it through the decades. Your alma mater is proud to honor you. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Visitors and the ancient royal charter of the College of William & Mary in Virginia, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
When I think about doing things for William & Mary, it takes me back to what I tried to do in Charlottesville, things that would make a difference. I picked people that I knew were going to make a difference and tried to join what they were doing.
I think Mrs. Smith's involvement in the Boys and Girls Club comes from a place of realizing that she has been very fortunate and wanting others to have access to the best. We have now worked together on 3 different club expansions. We have a gymnasium here in this building called the Hunter J. Smith Gymnasium. That wouldn't be here without her. And without that gymnasium, there wouldn't be hundreds of kids a day getting 60 minutes of fitness. And so her involvement with the club has helped us to provide kids opportunity and access to the best that this community has to offer.
I really consider her the true definition of a steel magnolia. She is as sweet as a little pie-fi can be, but she is also very business savvy and really runs a tight ship. We reopened the theater in 2004. She wanted it restored to its original luster. You walk into the theater and you feel like you're just in fairyland. It's so beautiful. And it wouldn't be possible without what Hunter had done for the theater, because you walk in through those doors and the magic already starts.
What I see in Hunter is that when she lives in a place, she becomes part of a place. She wants to do everything she can to make it the best place that it can be. And that's what we see with the freshman seminars and the renovation of her sorority house and the changes at Great Zabel Stadium and now the work that we're doing on Alumni House, all these many things. And I'm sure she's done other things at our college that I just can't name, but her presence is felt when she's there because she wants it to be. I think she might even need it to be felt because that's her giving nature.
I just want to say again that I'm very honored to be given this award. I'm sure there are people that deserve it a whole lot more, but nobody that'll appreciate it anymore.
Hunter Jones Smith, yours is a long legacy of empowering and enriching the lives of others through countless acts of generosity. Over the years, your strong support has enabled many organizations and institutions to reach new heights. From the moment your feet touched the bricks of this historic campus as a freshman, You embrace the exploration of new ways of thinking, discovering the power of your voice, and learning to speak up boldly. Having experienced firsthand how beneficial close student-faculty contact can be, the Hunter J. Smith Endowment for Freshman Seminars ensured this vital part of our liberal arts education will continue to be an integral part of the undergraduate curriculum. Phi Beta Phi, your sorority, enjoys a beautifully renovated house on Sorority Court thanks to your support. You helped transform Zabel Stadium into a state-of-the-art gathering place for the community to cheer on the tribe. Your generous investment in the renovation and expansion of the Alumni House will enable William & Mary to meet the needs of its growing alumni body while preserving the elegance and character of this campus landmark. Many, many institutions have benefited from your leadership, even Mr. Jefferson's second university. But your alma mater, William & Mary, has always been first in your heart.
Hunter Jones Smith, your benevolence and leadership have enriched the lives and missions of countless institutions and individuals. Your alma mater is proud to honor you. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Visitors and by the ancient Royal Charter of the College of William & Mary in Virginia, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
You're not in the field of African American literature and culture without knowing who she is.
Trudier Harris is one of the preeminent scholars of African American literature and Southern culture. She was our first African American tenured professor, and we are extremely proud of the impact and the career that she has had.
The writers that she has written on really would comprise the history of modern African American literature. You know, she's written on Zora Neale Hurston, she's written on James Baldwin, she's written on William Melvin Kelly. She has expanded our awareness of the significant ways in which these writers have changed how we understand the human condition.
My mother emphasized the value of education by saying, get something in your head. They can't take that away from you. Your mind is the only weapon you need. It is a formula for upward mobility, but it is also a formula for success in a society. Because when you read and study and learn and are able to articulate and interact with people, then you can move further and further along.
And to be at a predominantly white institution, conservative institution in the South alone is really what I'd call a pioneer.
You can never be satisfied. Don't ever be satisfied. You can celebrate 50 years of African American student presence at William & Mary, but what are you doing now? How are you envisioning the future so that 100 years from now, when you're celebrating 100 years worth of presence of African American students at William & Mary, how is that going to look different from the 50-year mark?
We are proud and honored to give Trudier Harris this honorary degree.
I'm truly proud to call you a friend, a mentor, a sister. William & Mary is honored to honor you.
It's just wonderful that she's being honored in this way, and particularly in this year that we're doing all these things about firsts at William & Mary. Congratulations, and this is so well deserved.
Trudier Harris, you're among the world's leading scholars of African American and Southern literature and cultural theory. You bring distinction to every post you fill, and your pioneering role as William & Mary's first tenured African-American faculty member will forever be significant in the history of this university. The sixth of 9 children on an 80-acre cotton farm in Alabama, you live the intertwined complexities of your environment, refining the cultural understanding at the core of your scholarship. Hard work was essential on the farm. Your mother instilled that learning was the most important work of all. Reflecting your maternal legacy, your marvelous teaching has sparked a lifelong passion for learning in countless students. In 1973, you joined William & Mary's English department. At the time, you were the only African American on the faculty and ultimately became the first tenured African American professor. You were awarded the Thomas Jefferson Teaching Award in 1978. Following a 36-year teaching career spanning 3 prominent universities, William & Mary, UNC Chapel Hill, and Emory, you returned home to the University of Alabama, home of your beloved Crimson Tide, as a distinguished research professor. Your prodigious scholarship earned widespread critical acclaim. Your insights continue to command attention, and you remain an inspiring example to your students.
Trudier Harris, your work has enlightened your students and readers for decades. For a career full of accomplishment, William & Mary is proud to honor you. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Visitors and the ancient royal charter of the College of William & Mary in Virginia, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Literature, honoris causa.
Congratulations.
Governor Northam has lived his entire adult life in the service of others. First as a medical doctor in the United States Army taking care of injured servicemen and women, and then later as a pediatric neurologist taking care of children, and now today as a public servant serving as the 73rd Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
I would say he's a very good-natured and empathetic person. Like, no matter who he's with or what setting he's in, he finds a way to relate with people and kind of figure out what's important to them and how he can best help them with whatever he's doing.
The way he was raised was that every person deserved to be treated equally. And you saw that in their care for their community and for everyone in their community and everyone caring for them.
I teach students and residents at the medical school, and I always encourage them to work hard, but to also enjoy what they're doing. Life is short, so we need to take every day like it's a good day and see what we can do to help other people to make our society a little bit better today than it was yesterday. And then to always remember where you came from, remember your roots, remember your family, and remember your relationships, because at the end of the day, that's what will be most important.
As a pediatric neurologist who spent his entire professional life caring for children, he certainly understands the compassion and the empathy that's required to be an outstanding physician. And he also, from a policy standpoint, really understands healthcare. So I think he has both perspectives, somebody who really understands healthcare and someone who's been at the bedside taking care of young children.
People often joke that his resume is perfect for any politician, but if anything, it shows the values we want in our leaders and just people in general.
I've always really enjoyed helping other people, and especially people that are less fortunate than me. I've worked hard all of my life, but I've been blessed. And so if I can get up in the morning and know that I can go out there and help someone, whether it be a child that's sick or coming here to Richmond and helping with legislation that makes things better for all Virginians, that's what makes me happy.
We're so appreciative for the many people that make William & Mary the top-rated university that is today. What a legacy, what a grand history. We are so appreciative as a Commonwealth for what William & Mary does.
Ralph Shearer Northam, your life is dedicated to service to your country and Commonwealth, to the children most of all. After great success in pediatrics and public leadership, you are now entrusted with Virginia's highest office. Raised on a farm on a Chesapeake Bay inlet, you followed your brother to Virginia Military Institute. After graduating with distinction, you attended Eastern Virginia Medical School before serving as a U.S. Army medical officer for 8 years, including a pediatric neurology fellowship at Walter Reed Army Medical Center and treating casualties of Operation Desert Storm. After retiring from the Army, you returned with your family to Virginia, practicing pediatric neurology and teaching medicine and ethics. In 1998, you established Children's Specialty Group, your current medical practice, in addition to serving as a medical director at Edmark Hospice for Children in Portsmouth, treating terminally ill children. For all your accolades, your proudest accomplishments have come as a lifetime advocate for children. You were first elected to public office in 2007 as a state senator. In 2013, you were elected Virginia's 40th lieutenant governor, continuing your commitment to strengthening early childhood education, implementing meaningful mental health reform, protecting women's access to health care, and providing veterans with much needed and richly deserved support. Now, as Virginia's 73rd governor, you will lead the Commonwealth toward an even brighter future.
Ralph Shearer Northam, for your extraordinary service to others, William & Mary is proud to honor you. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Visitors and the ancient royal charter of the College of William & Mary in Virginia, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Public Service, honora causa.
Well, hardly after you have sat down, Governor, I summon you back to the podium to speak to us.
Well, good afternoon. It is great to be back on the campus of William & Mary. Thank you, President Reevely, for the introduction and the wonderful honor, and to all in attendance and to all our dignitaries here today. It is truly an honor to be with you today to celebrate William & Mary's Charter Day and to mark some significant milestones in the university's history. I also thank Chancellor Robert Gates and Rector Todd Stoudemire. Todd was part of my transition team after we were elected on November the 7th, and Todd, for your efforts, I am truly grateful, so thank you very much for that. I'm honored to be a recipient of this degree. I also want to congratulate my fellow honorees here today. Trudier Harris, William & Mary's first tenured African-American faculty member, is one of the nation's leading scholars in African-American and Southern literature, with an exemplary 36-year teaching career. It's fitting that we honor Dr. Harris this year, which is also the 50th anniversary of the arrival of William & Mary's first African-American residential students. It takes a lot of courage to be the first, especially in a time when African-Americans still faced widespread, overt discrimination. Dr. Harris and those 3 young African-American women who moved into Jefferson Hall in 1967 are to be applauded. We shouldn't forget that those milestones were not that long ago. Discrimination, segregation, and racism are not long past history. There are things that happen to people who are alive and in this room today. Our work to overcome racism and discrimination is not complete. We were reminded of this with the horrific tragedy in Charlottesville last year, when a group of white supremacists marched into our beautiful city with torches and weapons, spewing their hatred and bigotry. We still have a lot of work to do to ensure that we eradicate discrimination and build a Virginia in which everyone is welcome, everyone is treated equally, no matter where they come from, which religion they practice, who they love, or the color of their skin. I promise that I will work toward that as governor. I also congratulate Francis G. McLaughlin and Hunter J. Smith, both alumni who have been so generous to this university and to other Virginia institutions. They are shining examples of giving back to a community, giving our money, if we have it, but also our time, our energies, our gifts are all things we can give back to the places that nurtured us, the places that need us. Today, we celebrate Charter Day, the 325th anniversary of the granting of William and Mary's royal charter by King William III and Queen Mary II in 1693. In 1693, Virginia wasn't even a state, but a colony. America was an idea. We could not tell the story of Virginia nor the story of America without William and Mary. It's the oldest college in Virginia and in the South, the second oldest in the nation, and was America's first law school. It has educated presidents and signers of the Declaration of Independence. UVA is very proud of being founded by Thomas Jefferson, but Thomas Jefferson was educated right here at William and Mary. I myself am a proud product of Virginia Public Schools, both at the K-12 level and in my higher education. I attended the Virginia Military Institute and Eastern Virginia Medical School. I've taught some classes at EVMS, and I see a number of students who receive their undergraduate degrees from William and Mary. They're always well prepared for the rigors of medical school. Being a native of the Eastern Shore and having experienced the demise of the Chesapeake Bay, I have always appreciated William and Mary's Virginia Institute for Marine Sciences and the research and education VIMS does to restore and protect the bay and the wildlife in it. Pam and I have 2 children, and they also attended Virginia's public institutions. Our daughter Aubrey graduated from the University of Virginia in 2013 and is a web developer in Richmond. Our son Wes graduated from William and Mary. In 2010 and EVMS in 2014, he's now in his 4th of 7 years of neurosurgical training in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and as Pam and I like to say about our children, they are both employed, which is a good thing. So while this honorary degree is my first from William and Mary, Pam and I did pay tuition for 4 years. I also paid quite a bit of money to the neighborhood Wawa over those years. As parents and now as governor, I appreciate the educational experience Wes had at William & Mary and the university's efforts to keep tuition affordable for students. Virginia's public schools shaped me and set me on my path in life. I want every Virginia child to have that same opportunity for a good start and a good education. That begins early, and we need to expand our early childhood education programs to ensure that we're getting children off to a good start in life. We must make sure that the same opportunity exists in every corner of Virginia. Whether you live, where you live shouldn't limit what you learn or how much you can achieve. As governor, I will support fully funding our standards of quality, support compensation that helps our schools attract and retain the best teachers, and push for more equitable school discipline policies. Our students also deserve access to a high-quality, affordable education once they leave high school. Once, a high school degree was enough for many good jobs, but these days that's less frequently the case. Now, we're preparing our children for 21st century jobs like high-tech careers in STEAM-related fields such as cybersecurity, unmanned aerial systems, biotechnology, artificial intelligence, data collection, and data analysis. Employers want workers with more education and more training. It's critical for our economic growth that we invest in ways to ensure that our workforce can get that training and education, bringing skills to jobs. Education is a huge economic driver. Colleges and universities like William & Mary attract talent and investment to their communities and to the state. Every dollar spent on Virginia's public higher education system returns $1.92 to the state treasury. I'd say spending $1 to get almost $2 back is a great investment. But we must ensure that it's also a good investment for our students. In the past 10 years, average higher education costs have risen 70% at our four-year universities. That puts a college degree further out of reach for many Virginians. I know these tuition hikes are in part due to reductions in the state's support for public colleges and universities. I'm committed to changing that. And I applaud William & Mary for taking steps to try to stem this problem. The William & Mary Promise, a four-year tuition cost guarantee you adopted in 2013, provides more predictability and stability for Virginia students and their families. I would like to see other state colleges and universities adopt a similar model. I also appreciate William & Mary's partnership with Richard Bland College. That partnership helps provide greater resources for transfer students and is just one way we can increase accessibility to higher education. That's a high priority for me, whether that higher education comes from a four-year university like William & Mary or a workforce training program in one of our community colleges. Our goal is to make education and training attainable for every Virginian. That helps individuals as well as the state. I must mention one other milestone being marked at William & Mary this year: the retirement of your president, Taylor Reevely. Each time Pam and I visit with him, we're more impressed. For the past decade, President Reevely has been a tireless advocate for William & Mary, both in Richmond and beyond Virginia's borders. His influence can be seen physically in the 3 new science facilities, the upcoming Arts Quarter, and the renovation of countless buildings. That influence is also felt in progress such as the Lemon Project, William & Mary's effort to face the school's history of slavery and segregation, which has become a model at higher institutions across the country. President Reevely also has overseen the expansion of resources for mental health and the prevention of sexual assault. Alumni engagement and giving is also at the highest point in William and Mary's history. All of these things are a testament to President Reevely's hard work and leadership. President Reevely, thank you for your service and for all the lives you have touched. I am sure you all join me in wishing him well in his retirement. In closing, I again want to thank you for this honor you have bestowed upon me today. I am committed to spending the next 4 years ensuring that Virginians in every corner of the state have access to good health, a good education, and a good job. I want Virginia's story in the 21st century to be a story of a place that is open and welcoming and provides equal opportunity for all. Just as it has done for 325 years, William and Mary will continue to be a vital part of that story. Thank you so much.
Governor, thank you so much for those important words and those very kind words. It's quite wonderful to have you with us. All right. Each year at Charter Day, we recognize members of our faculty and student body of compelling ability who have vision and wisdom in the tradition of our alumnus, Thomas Jefferson. We also recognize a student who, in the spirit of our alumnus, James Monroe, has a powerful commitment to good citizenship and service. Vice President for Student Affairs, Ginger Ambler, Provost Michael Halloran, and Mark Osler, class of 1985, will assist in the award presentations. Ginger.
The second of 3 United States presidents to graduate from the College of William and Mary, James Monroe lived according to a principle summarized in his first inaugural address: "From a just responsibility, I will never shrink." The Owens Foundation has made possible a student award recognizing service and leadership in the tradition of President Monroe. This year, we honor Jordan Gilliard. Jordan, please join me. Jordan, as the Vice President of the campus NAACP chapter, you organized an educational, justice-oriented response to our growing national dialogue on race. While your passion and experience in the fight for racial justice was expanding, so was your love of music. As a locally and nationally recognized vocalist, you found your two loves coinciding during conversations with other students of color who were involved in a cappella at the university. It is with deep care that you have taken on project after project to better the William and Mary community through fellowships, the Sharp Community Scholars Program, the NAACP, Black Lives Matter Williamsburg, the a cappella group Flow, Real Talk, and others. Through your actions and words, you have shown us that the communities we are striving to build need to be built on love, not fear.
I have to give you your award. Jordan, Thank you for your service to the college and the good you have done us. You get a large, elegant thing to hang on your wall. Congratulations.
The Thomas Jefferson Prize in Natural Philosophy goes to a William & Mary student of superior academic performance and potential for future achievement, and whose work embraces the 18th century idea of natural philosophy. This year, the student is Lakita Kola. Lakita, please join me. Lakita Kola, 4 faculty members in biology have declared you to be one of the most creative and independent students whom they've had the honor to teach. Full of boundless energy, you are completing a challenging double major in biology and computational and applied mathematics and statistics. And you have been an outstanding member of the iGEM team and the leader of the biology club for 3 years. You led Professor William Busher's research team and made decisions that influenced the overall direction taken by the entire lab. With your exceptional skill in molecular, cellular, and computational biology, you have forged a new approach to cancer research, using novel tools that you helped discover that inhibit key processes in cancer cells. Professor Margaret Saha observed that you have embraced with enthusiasm every cutting-edge approach, no matter how multidisciplinary or challenging, to answer the question your research poses. Your honors thesis supervisor, Professor Elizabeth Allison, observed that each time she talks with you, her admiration for your intellect and research grows exponentially. Professor Mark Sorthike says you are simply brilliant. You have fearlessly taken on the field of quantitative and computational biology, and you are determined to obtain an MD and PhD and develop quantitative predictive models for disease prognosis.
Well, Lakita, you are a marvel, and we are delighted to award you the Thomas Jefferson Prize in Natural Philosophy, and we shall follow your progress with great confidence and enthusiasm. Congratulations.
The Thomas Jefferson Teaching Award was established as a tribute to those teachers who, through encouragement and example, helped to shape the life of young Jefferson. The award honors junior members of the faculty who have inspired in their students a love of learning. This year, we honor Associate Professor of Anthropology, Jonathan Glasser. Professor Glasser has an extraordinarily wide range of talents and interests, including music, history, the Middle East, and, of course, anthropology. He demonstrates a deep commitment to his students' learning, whether in a classroom or in taking them on a trip to Morocco to perform with Moroccan musicians. Professor Glasser cannot be with us today. We honor him in absentia.
The Thomas Jefferson Award is the college's most prestigious honor, bestowed upon a faculty member who's demonstrated a deep devotion and outstanding service to the college. This year, we honor my teacher and mentor, Professor Joanne Braxton. Good teachers touch students' lives. Great teachers transform them. Professor Braxton has been the latter, a beloved force of nature. 35 years ago, I was a student in Professor Braxton's class on African American literature. I was a Yankee from Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Professor Braxton was described to me by a fellow student as an actual poet. I was skeptical. When class began, I found out what that meant. Professor Braxton wasn't a poet just because she'd published poetry. She was a poet because her words were well considered, strong, worthy of our time. A question would be asked and she would pause, nodding a little bit. We waited anxiously, and the answer would come out in a way I'd never heard before. Her responses had an architecture to them. They weren't said so much as they were constructed. We listened. I listened to her. I began to think differently about race and about history, and also about the power of language. I resolved to have some of that poetry in me. No matter what I did, I wanted a bit of that soaring architecture she modeled in what I said and wrote, and I still want that. This ancient place has been blessed to have her near, and so have I. Students up there, the heart of teaching is love, and this teacher taught me that. Thank you, congratulations, and welcome, Professor Joanne Braxton.
Joanne, come join me. Professor Braxton, for your steadfast devotion, your tireless efforts, your superb contributions to William and Mary, we are delighted to present you with the Thomas Jefferson Award. Richly, richly deserved. This is Jonathan Glasser's Thomas Jefferson Award, but I'm reasonably certain that yours is here. Yes. Joanne. Please speak. Please speak.
Thank you, Taylor, so much. And Mark, thank you. It is a joy to know you and to have known you for so long. It has been an honor and a privilege to teach at the College of William and Mary for 37 years. More than half my life. People sometimes ask me why I taught here so long. The answer is always the same. The quality of the character of the students I teach. Teaching is my highest calling. Teaching is also a sacred trust. Whenever I enter a classroom to teach, I know that I am standing on sacred ground. It is the teacher's job to hold space for the learners in the classroom environment, to make it safe for them to explore literature and ideas and find their way to surpassing what they, the students, have known to be possible. It is a premise of my compassionate pedagogy to hold a space of curiosity and complete awe, wherein I myself am prepared to learn from my students. For experience has taught me that when one teaches with integrity, one becomes both teacher and student. Braxtons were at William and Mary in the 18th century. Some as students, some as individuals who were enslaved. Before I retired, after almost 4 decades of teaching as a professor in this most ancient university, there are understandably some things that I hoped to see in place for the common good of all, and especially for those who inherit this legacy. Many of these dreams have been fulfilled. I can see my bright hopes in the visionary leadership of those I once taught and who now serve this university as professors and administrators. Braxton DNA is as surely embedded in the future of William and Mary as it is in the walls of the Wren. I am reminded today of 2 Timothy. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. Now I look forward to transitioning to emeritus status and to answering other calls. To President Reevely, esteemed guests, members of the Board of Visitors, dedicated servant leaders, and beloved friends and colleagues present, I say thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the honor of this award and the joy of this day, which I shall treasure for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Professor Braxton, we thank you. If there are former Thomas Jefferson Award recipients here today, in honor of your signal contributions to William and Mary, please stand up and let us salute you. We come, as always, to the President's closing remarks. And as always, let's see. They will not be long. Well, as we all know, this academic year, the campus is awash in anniversaries, vital anniversaries, enormously important anniversaries. Since first term began last August, we have been remembering and celebrating the 50th anniversary of the arrival on campus of 3 intrepid freshmen, 3 brave young women, the first African-American students to live in our residence halls, and the first to truly desegregate William and Mary. Lynn Briley, Janet Brown Schaffer, and Karen Eli. These alumni arrived in September 1967. They persevered, and they graduated 4 years later in 1971. This is a very important 50th anniversary of their arrival. Also this year, we've been gearing up to remember and celebrate the arrival of women as students at William & Mary in 1918. Our Board of Visitors adopted a resolution on February the 12th, 1918, supporting a pending bill in the General Assembly to allow women to be admitted to William & Mary. The bill was approved shortly thereafter by the Virginia House of Delegates and Senate. And then in September 1918, next fall, 24 freshman women came to campus. It's hard now even to imagine the tribe without women as full-fledged members of the student body. And when they arrived in September 1918, they saved a college short on students and short on tuition because of the First World War's appetite for our male students. William & Mary led the way for coeducation in Virginia, as it has led the way for American higher education in so many respects over the centuries. But today, the anniversary most on our minds and most in our hearts is William & Mary's 325th birthday. King William and Queen Mary did sign our royal charter in a drafty London palace that has since burned down, creating the college they named for themselves on February 8, 1693, 325 years ago. Now look, as birthdays go, the 325th is worth special celebration, but in all reality, it's not all that big a deal. Kind of like the 25th birthday for any of us. Nice, important. But a pale shadow in comparison to, say, our 21st birthday or our 50th birthday. So William & Mary really beat the drums and sounded the trumpets when it turned 300 in 1993. And I imagine the tribe will get in high celebratory mode for its 350th. And then I expect the tribe to go absolutely bonzo for the 400th in 2093. But now it's the 325th. So let's just say, well done, alma mater of the nation. Well done, beloved William & Mary. You are magnificent. You are an iconic American institution with a past rich with significance for our country and a future of enormous potential for the Commonwealth, the country, indeed the world. We are very proud of you, and you have never looked better at 325. Now, no birthday is complete without singing Happy Birthday, and we're about to have a rousing rendition of Happy Birthday from our choral group, No Ceiling. But first, I should say, they graciously invited me to introduce Happy Birthday with something on the piano. And I said, let's not spoil the 325th. with my attempting that. No Ceiling, Happy Birthday.
So dear, 325 years of William and Mary. How can you measure our school? In classes, in dorm rooms, in friendships, in cups of coffee, in Sadler, unsung in gardens, in strife. In 325 years of William and Mary. How do you measure a year in the life? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, No Ceiling. That was spectacular. William & Mary is very pleased. All right, a few logistical matters. Students, please leave your mark for all time coming by signing your names to the 2018 Charter Day banners. They will be placed in the university archives. Also pick up your 2018 Charter Day pins. And for the first time at Charter Day, raffle tickets will be handed out to students, just students, for a chance to win 2 $500 express cards, or 2 floor tickets to the spring concert, or the consolation prize, lunch with the president, that's me, along with 6 of your friends. We will feed at the dining room table in the president's house. The winning raffle tickets will be drawn tomorrow at the 2 p.m. Gold Rush basketball game. So to win, you gotta be at the game. Students, the banners for you to sign, the pins for you to pick up, the raffle tickets will be waiting for you on the Commons side of this hall as you leave. Now, 2 more announcements. In a moment, let's stand for the alma mater. If the words of the alma mater are temporarily eluding you, they're on page 25 of the program. And as you know, William & Mary likes everyone to sing, whether you are a woman or a man. There are no free passes, men. Turn to page 25. Everybody sings in robust celebration of William & Mary's 25th birthday. All right, choir, lead us, please.
Hark the students' voices swelling, strong and true and clear. Alma maters of their telling, ringing far and near. William and Mary, loved of old, hark upon the gale. Hear the thunder of our chorus, Alma mater hail. God our Father, hear our voices, listen to our cry. Bless the college of our fathers, let her never die. William and Mary, loved of old, hark upon the gale. Hear the thunder of our chorus, Alma mater hail. William and Mary, loved of old, hark upon the gale. Hear the thunder of our chorus, Alma mater
Audience, those of you sitting out there or standing at the moment, please stay where you are until the platform party has exited the hall. You may want to sit down for a minute. A very happy Charter Day 2018 to us all.
Beneath thy trees, within thy halls, dear college, we give praise to thee, to pledge ourselves whatever befalls, to pledge unfailing loyalty. Our hearts are with thee, dear William and Mary, however far we stray. Our noble college, hear us now, thy shall not dull the shining name, whose gleam our songs will ever renew. And as years go by, dear William and Mary, thy fame will never cease. But each new year rejoice to see thy children's praise to thee increase. We honor thee not for our gain, but to make known thy majesty, thy truth and courage that remain, however harsh the fates may be. As through troublous years, dear William and Mary, our country fought, so thou hast fought, and won and lived to hear thy children singing to thee now. Thank you.